Today we are going to talk about some tips that will make you a better photographer. These 9 tips I think are very strong tips that can make you a much better photographer. So let's dive into it. This is Asim Gupta with ShutterClick. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also at the same time, make sure you hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of all my future videos. So let's talk about the 9 tips that can make you a better photographer. Tip number 1 is take your time. Make sure you're not rushing through your pictures. Oftentimes this happens where you have just come from a shoot, either taken, let's say you have done some event or done some portrait photography, and now suddenly the scene has changed. Now you're outside somewhere with your same camera taking landscape pictures. So obviously your camera settings will be much different for a landscape picture versus any event or portrait that you just came from. So it is very important that you give a moment, like maybe few seconds, a minute, just to make sure that your camera settings are proper according to the situation or according to the type of shoot you want to do. For example, if you were probably doing an event somewhere, you were probably shooting aperture mode or shutter priority mode, and maybe at a higher speeds with less ISO and less aperture. Now suddenly you're in landscape where everything should be sharp enough, everything should be in focus. So obviously your aperture should not be f2.8 or f3.5, it should be much higher. Your shutter speeds can, if you're taking long exposures, obviously you need long shutter speeds, but if the exposures are not that long, then you need shutter speed according to that. So everything has to adjust, including your ISOs, your white balance, your vibration reduction settings, your lens settings. Everything has to change accordingly. So oftentimes it can happen where you are so excited to take pictures that you have forgot that your camera is not set properly. And this has happened to me as well, and I still make sure that I go through these settings every time I'm doing a shoot. Yeah, the point is you don't want to be disappointed, especially let's say if you go to a travel and obviously you went to some great locations, but then you can come back home, look at those pictures at home, and all those pictures do not look the way you want them to. That I feel is a big disappointment, and obviously you don't want to go through that. So the best way is make sure you give some time, enough time to evaluate your settings prior to taking any pictures. The second powerful tip I have is your composition, the picture composition and the angles you use. It is a very key factor to have a good composition of your picture. How you are framing the picture, what's in the picture versus what has to be eliminated out of the picture, stuff like that. You have to make sure you pay enough attention before you click the picture. If there are unnecessary objects, like for example if there are people standing into your landscape pictures or your portraits, that picture won't look that good. Or if there are objects in the picture which can be avoided maybe by just changing the angle or moving slightly, then look for that angle or look for that position. So in that way you can avoid things and still capture a great picture. For example, in this picture you see I could have taken the landscape picture, which I did separately, just of the entire landscape, but then I saw this tree which I thought I could use it as a frame. So I moved few steps back and brought that tree into the frame, so that on the left side I have now this tree as a frame, and then I still have the landscape. So that just gives a different perspective to the picture, and I think it adds to the picture. Just making these minor changes here and there, or changing the angle slightly, or bringing things like these into the frame can make your pictures look different from others and can be a huge impact. Same way, the angles from where you take the picture is very important too. Typically we have a habit of standing and taking pictures from our standing height, but try to sit, maybe try to even go on the floor or take another position just to see if that angle makes more sense to you. For example, this picture, I could have taken it from the level I was standing, but going low, just closer to the ground, made more sense, and that definitely gave a good perspective, a different type of perspective to the picture. The third tip I have for you is the horizon lines. It is so important to have your horizon line straight. I feel even if your picture is one of the best pictures you have taken and you have put a lot of effort behind it, The point is, if the horizon line is not straight, then that picture somehow it loses its value, especially if you look at it from a professional level. If you're considering your photography seriously, or maybe even trying to take it to a professionalism, that's a very basic step that you want to follow. You want to make sure that your horizon lines are always straight. Here is a simple example where this picture taken on the beach, definitely you can see it's a good picture. After processing, obviously it will look good once you add more color, more contrast to it. But then if the horizon line is not straight, it just degrades your picture right there. Versus now, if I have the picture with a straight horizon line, it definitely now looks much better. And this is something that nobody would point out, or nobody would look at it if it's straight. But then if it's crooked, obviously everybody would criticize it and not like the picture. So make sure your horizon lines are definitely straight in all your pictures. The fourth powerful tip that I have for you is go through some good photography training course. You have to be patient learning photography. I mean, watching YouTube videos or reading few articles is definitely a good choice, and all the photographers doing that are great photographers. You learn a lot from them. I have learned a lot from them. But at the same time, getting a good knowledge, building a good base is very important for you. So go through some good training courses. It is very important. Like for example, I have done my diploma in professional photography from Photography Institute, and that helped me a lot. I mean, I thought I knew a lot of photography, but after doing that course, they went into a lot of basics, how things work, the technicalities of it. And if you're seriously considering photography as your profession or even as a hobby, but if you're serious about it, I would definitely recommend you to go through a course. One of the courses that I can recommend is from Digital Photography School. I have an affiliate link down below, so if you like that, they have certain courses or some specific courses that you can go through. If not, there are other courses also available in the market, so explore it and make sure you go through some good training course. The fifth powerful tip that I have for you is share your work. Until you share your work is not worth anything. If your pictures are just sitting in your hard drive, they are not doing anything for you. They are not even improving your own photography. You can think of yourself as a good photographer, but that doesn't mean you are a good photographer until people start appreciating you. So it's very important that people appreciate you and at the same time criticize you, because those criticisms will be the thing that improves your photography. Those are the things where you want to get better. So I would definitely recommend that you share your work. Now, in terms of sharing your work, social media definitely is a big platform. Your Instagram, Flickr, or even Facebook is a good platform. But other than that, one thing that helped me a lot is I joined a local club here in San Diego, and I was a member of that club for 4 to 5 years at least. And this was a photography club where I used to share my work. They used to have competitions, they used to have workshops and stuff like that. Obviously, a lot of great photographers with different niches, with their own professionalism, used to attend that club. So that club helped me a lot. I could show my work to them, they would criticize, they would appreciate that at the same time. Some of my work also got displayed through them in some of the art museums. So try to find some local clubs wherever you are, or even some online clubs like Viewbugs or 500px. I mean, these are some great websites where you can totally share your work, get some criticism, get some appreciation. Also, at the same time, you want to share your work with the people you know, your family, your friends, so that they know you do this kind of work. The sixth powerful tip that I have for you is go for quality and not quantity of pictures. Oftentimes, you can be on a trip, take thousands of pictures, but at the end of the day, if all those 1,000 pictures are just average pictures taken from the same spot, or every person is taking picture, it's not giving you anything at the end. Those pictures are still good pictures, but you have not done anything to enhance it or make it an exceptional work. So I would recommend is go for quality and not quantity. And the way you can do is again by getting a good composition, by making sure that you're at the right spot at right time. For example, landscape pictures. I mean, there is something called golden hours. That's where you want to shoot most of your pictures. You want to wake up early or stay late and stuff like that. So you have to find the right time, the right light, and right situation to shoot the pictures to make it exceptional. So make sure you work on it, you plan it properly so that you can get a right picture and a good picture. So again, keep shooting, but go for quality of pictures, not quantity of pictures. The seventh powerful tip I have, and this is very important, is understanding lighting. Not a lot of people understand lighting and how it can impact your pictures. For example, here is a picture taken at Yellowstone National Park. Everything looks okay, and this is an afternoon picture, which obviously you can see some bisons and stuff like that, and that all looks good. But at the same time, now look at this picture, which was taken in the morning during the golden hours, where the sun was just coming out. The light was not too harsh, and it was enough for me to give this exposure, and basically it makes a huge difference. I mean, nobody can tell that these two pictures are taken at the same location just because the lighting has changed. I'm almost standing probably at somewhere at the same spot or at the same place, but just that difference and the atmosphere there gives a huge impact. Also, at the same time, understanding lighting and flashes and your strobe lights is very important when you're trying to get into portrait photography or studio photography. So understand lighting, that is a key element into your photography. The eighth powerful tip that I have for you is try to tell the story with your picture. Whether it be portrait picture, whether it be a studio picture, or event picture, or even landscape pictures, try to tell the story behind it. I mean, that creates a big impact. And at the end, you should be taking pictures with the story in mind. Here is the fact that everybody is taking pictures out there, right? How is your picture different? Now, if there is a story in your mind, or if you can connect a story with your picture somehow, that gives a huge impact, especially when you're sharing it on social media and stuff like that. That definitely gives a different perspective to how the end user or how the audience is looking at your picture. So try to connect to some kind of story when you're taking pictures. The ninth powerful tip I have for you is find a mentor. Oftentimes what happens is you're in your own zone and you think you're a good photographer, and probably you are, but at the same time, if you have that mentor, you have that follower of which you dream to be one day, that makes a huge impact, because that doesn't mean you're copying them completely, but at least you're getting inspired from them. You're getting inspired in terms of how they are framing their work, how they are networking their work, or how they are spreading or how they are building the audience, stuff like that. And not only that, how are they using the lights? What is different from your picture versus that picture that they are taking? So having that mentor, having that comparison in a healthy way is very important. Otherwise, it's very tough for you to make yourself a better photographer if you don't have a comparison or something to relate to. So don't forget to hit the like button and make sure you comment, and at the same time, if you have more things that you think can make others better photographer, please share by making a comment. And at the same time, as I said before, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you can be notified. Thank you for watching the video, and keep clicking.